You have exactly 40 seconds. I mean, that is the literal window you have to find the evidence before it just, vanishes into thin air. Welcome to our exploration into the source material on the 3IET-LAS initiative.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It is a massive framework we're looking at today, navigating lethal chemistry, nuclear defense, and, well, the sort of quantumness of deep space.
Right, and we are diving into a really fascinating cache of protocols today. It basically connects the invisible toxicity of nickel carbonyl to this geopolitical race for nuclear persistence in orbit, and even those weird signal anomalies coming from Voyager 2.
It is a wild ride. And I
Yeah.
mean, it really starts with that forensic ghost you mentioned, right? Tetracarbonyl nickel or NiCO4. It's a substance that is as deadly as hydrogen cyanide.
But way more elusive. Like, the sources say it's a colorless liquid with a really musty odor, but it decomposes in air with a 40-second half-life.
Exactly. It just leaves behind these microscopic traces of nickel. And that matters hugely for aerospace, specifically, propulsion systems that use nickel superalloys under extreme pressure.
Wait, I actually have to push back a bit here. I mean, the sources make it sound like a chemical smokescreen. If the gas is literally gone in under a minute, how do we actually hold these aerospace testing facilities accountable for exposures?
Well, I mean, that is the big problem, right? The chemistry is so incredibly elusive that oversight basically has to be decentralized.
Are they just operating in a total legal vacuum?
It really feels like it sometimes. That is the core tension of the 3A Atlas initiative, because you can't track the gas organizations, like investigative collectives and FOIA nodes like the Black Vault. They look for the paper trail instead.
Oh, tracking big defense through the paperwork.
Right. They track the nuclear persistent architectures that this specific chemistry supports.
Okay, so that is where we shift from the engine chemistry to the actual power source. The sources talk about DARPA and the Space Development Agency making a major pivot.
Yes, moving away from standard solar power. They are leaning hard into nuclear power to maintain space superiority.
Right, I saw that in the 2026 Golden Dome budget material. They use this phrase, technological surprise. But how does a secret black world, unacknowledged budget project actually become a reality in the white world of public policy?
So they use these mechanisms called URCs, university-affiliated research centers like Johns Hopkins APL or FFRDCs like RAND.
Oh, so they act as like a bridge.
Exactly. They basically act as a technological airlock. It is a strategic way to kind of launder classified innovation into the public sphere so it can be scaled up commercially.
Without having a messy congressional hearing over every single nut and bolt. That makes a lot of sense. But speaking of security, once you put a nuclear reactor in orbit, that brings us to the anomalous data coming from Voyager 2.
Yeah, the need for secure communication up there is huge. Some researchers hypothesize those Voyager 2 signals might actually be, quantum entanglement.
Like non-classical transfer.
Right, exactly. Information moving in ways that, well, standard physics just doesn't explain. We see nodes of this research popping up at the SQMS Center at Fermilab, and also the QEYS-SAT mission looking into secure optical comms.
Okay, but hold on. Is this quantumness just a really convenient label for data we just do not understand yet? I mean, are we actually seeing a shift in fundamental physics?
It is actually a fundamental shift in the security of the mechanism itself. In a quantum system, if someone tries to eavesdrop or intercept the signal, the physics of the particle literally changes.
Wow. So the message basically destroys itself.
Yeah, exactly. It is the ultimate unhackable security for a nuclear-powered space fleet.
That is wild. And looking at the oversight landscape, the sources note it is not just state monopolies dealing with this anymore. We have private space wars with companies like Starlink and the European Space Shield.
Yeah, and it hits on a really local level, too. I mean, you look at Costa Rica with CENESPA and the University of Costa Rica.
Right. There are regional hubs for aerospace ethics and regolith research, like Space Dirt.
Exactly. They are writing the foundational guide for building off-world infrastructure on the moon or Mars. But, the sources also point out they face local challenges regarding press freedom, which is a stark contrast.
Which ties right back to transparency. If scientists are working on hazardous nuclear propulsion and the press is being squeezed, it is up to those FOIA nodes to make sure the forensic ghosts don't stay hidden.
They're the ones trying to hold the line while the tech just gets increasingly invisible.
Which leaves me with a pretty provocative thought to end on. We went from toxic vapors to quantum signals today. But as we move toward entanglement-based communication, are we leaving the information age for a quantum age?
Where secrets are physically tethered to the sender.
Exactly. If a signal literally destroys itself when observed, does traditional whistleblowing or even the concept of a signal become entirely obsolete? Definitely something to mull over on your own.